All right. Well, most of you will have seen this, or many of you will have seen this back in May. And that was when we were getting very close to sort of finalizing our bylaws and our organizational structure. We'd had a lot of work from the interim board who have just been, and I want to give a shout out at this point to Kirsten and Jim, and also Karis, who's away, and Scott, who are both working, very hard in the other parts of their lives, as well as on the interim board. But there's been a lot of work going into this transition, making sure that we can, preserve the original collaborative nature of the roundtable, and also integrate, that society board overview and kind of more formalized structure to keep us in line with what the rest of societies in BC are doing. So that's really the purpose of this transition. And this presentation will just kind of go through a little bit about, how we are managing that transition and what you can expect going forward. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. So previously, as you know, we've been the Coquitlam River Watershed Roundtable, and we'll continue to use that name as we go forward, although formally, we will be the Coquitlam River Watershed Society on paperwork. So we were an unincorporated association of individuals and organizations. Now we are functioning as a society. We had that core committee structure that you're all familiar with, numerous committees and projects planned and implemented according to the Coquitlam River Watershed Plan. So none of that really is changing. We will continue to have our committees, the core committee, and continue to implement projects according to the Coquitlam River Watershed Plan. Okay, so, however, as I mentioned, we did decide to become a society in 2020 for the purposes of securing reliable insurance and accessing funding that's available to societies. And also to put us, as I mentioned, in the mainstream of how community organizations and societies function in BC. We held a legal review in 2023 to make sure that this was the right path for us going forward as a society. And that was approved. And so since April 2024, we've been working with a lawyer at Jagger Volcanant, who has helped us in drafting a set of bylaws that we feel achieves both preserving the original sort of collaborative nature and structure of the roundtable, but providing a board with fiduciary oversight. And so I'll share a little bit more about the bylaws specifically and the adoption of new bylaws. But for now, I think I will just hand it over to Kirsten to tell you a little bit more about the interim board. Go ahead, Kirsten.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've been operating, the interim board's been operating this year, and right now it's been myself, Jim Allard, Karis, and Scott Walmsley from City of Port Coquitlam. We've basically been trying to get all the business up to date so that we can move forward at our AGM and officially not being incorporated, be an actual board, and hopefully bring others on board to join us. So basically all the work has been done, and you've probably seen some emails from Georgia on some bylaws and some approvals to read through in preparation for the AGM. And essentially it's exactly what Georgia has said. We are really carrying on as a roundtable community engagement, just getting all the good work done that we need to get done. But we're now just as a society, and we have a board. So, again, not much more to say there, unless there's some, and we've gone through this again before in April, unless anyone has any questions about that. I will keep going. So I don't know if this looks probably somewhat similar to past Georgia. This is sort of basically what except for the fact that we have the Society Board of Directors sort of on top with the governance and oversight. The same core committee members, the same sector representatives, all of that is essentially the same. Georgia, sorry, do you want to?
Sure, I'll just, so yeah, sure. So we've been operating with an interim board, which has been great. We've really been relying heavily on our interim board to kind of get us through this transition phase. And now we're going to be at the AGM bringing on board members sort of in a more regular permanent capacity. According to our bylaws, in the hopes that they actually do get adopted at the AGM. So as what's in the bylaws that we've sent out, or that will be up for adoption at the AGM, is that we are going to go forward with no fewer than 3 directors, no more than 11 directors, ideally somewhere between 5 and 9. And the board will provide fiduciary oversight and ensure that we're in regulatory compliance. And board members, we've put out a call for board members to, sort of, it's a broad net that we've cast out there. We're approaching people within our personal and professional networks who we know bring financial or governance expertise, folks who know about, who have an environmental background, others who bring HR expertise, and conservation, project management, legal. These are all areas that we're seeking expertise for on the board. And so we've reached out to some folks already, but certainly among the pool here on this call today, we'd be really happy to hear from anyone who, brings that kind of experience and would be willing to sit on the board. Or know somebody, if you know somebody who might be looking for this kind of experience, please do reach out and I can share an information package about what that would entail.
And I would to that, Georgia, just that I would really urge any of you to please forward your name to Georgia. We it's not a taxing job that we've tried to line it up so that we aren't taking up too much time of people that are of the roundtable and then also for the directors. So please do consider it and definitely would be happy to hear from any of you. Should you yourself be looking to join the board, or if you know of others that would be suitable. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kristen. Yes, and so we'll also just so you're aware, we're also expecting that once appointments have been approved later on this year, we'll be expecting some councillors to join the board from the cities of Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam, hopefully. And we'd also love to see some representation from Coquitlam First Nation. So we'll have a seat available for members from the Coquitlam First Nation as their capacity frees up to potentially participate on our board. Okay, and on to the next slide. So board process, make decisions by board resolution is fairly simple, really. It's make decisions by board resolution. It meets, the board meets 4 times a year. In addition to that, there'll be an optional participation in a work planning session, as well as our AGM, which it's expected that the AGM will happen by June going forward. So yeah, society membership. So just it is largely unchanged from what it was before. Sector representatives will continue to vote. And they will vote on resolutions and recommendations to put forward to the board. And the alternates and other community supporters are still very welcome to participate on on the core committee and other committees, but they just would not participate in the voting for things like passing the bylaws or electing new board members. That voting would be for the sector representatives specifically. And so the sector representatives, just to review, this is the structure that we've had in place for many years, and the structure that we will continue to have in place as we go forward. And so this is, you know, we're continuing with what we have had in the past, but this is also, you know, up for, it can be changed by special resolution if the membership decides that is, you know, what's needed to keep the society membership current and reflective of the community. Okay, so voting members, organizations that represent sectors, and number of votes allotted to each sector and core committee. Maybe, yes, sorry, this is just what I was saying, that it can be changed by special resolution. And a sector representative, if a sector representative becomes a board member, then the idea is that they would, their decision-making capacity would go to the board, and so it wouldn't be like they would not continue to vote as a sector representative. So they would just be contributing their decisions to the board. So we'll continue with core committee meetings or general meetings, community meetings. They've been called all these different names, but we'll just continue to call it a core committee meeting. It will continue to feature a presentation. That's also an opportunity for the voting membership, the sector representatives, to meet. And this year, we've held meetings on these dates, so that will continue. We'll continue to have about 5 meetings each year, and 1 in January, March, May, September, and November. So our next steps are board recruitment. That's in progress. The draft bylaws were sent out earlier today to the sector representatives to review, and those will be put to a vote on October 9th. So October 9th is our AGM. That's where you can, we'll be inviting everyone to join us. We'll share our financials. We'll share a sort of annual report from 2023 with some, and what we've been up to in 2024 as well to this point. And yeah, it'll be an opportunity to elect those new directors who are willing to stand. And again, this is just the pitch to get more new prospective board members. Yeah, like please, if there's anyone you can think of. We're also looking for you know, some more youth representation. And so, you know, it's not expected that you necessarily need to have a whole pile of experience under your belt. It's a really great opportunity for folks in university, for example, or potentially even high school, if they're, you know, active, engaged community members, then, you know, we'd be happy to have that perspective on the board. Yeah, so again, it's conservation, financial, you know, community engagement, HR, legal. There's a whole range of areas of expertise that we're looking for.